Good morning, family and friends and associates. I would like to bring to your attention that this woman here, as I explained, the ivory tower entourage is these characters, one is a two-faced woman, one is a two-faced man, one is a four-faced woman, one is a four-faced man, one is a man with a long neck, etc. These characteristics are symbolic of roles that they played in an archon. Okay? Now real quick, we're going to look at this this book of archons here. See this book of eons and archons? Imagine all these pages is filled with eons and archons. See, in this archon, somebody else was the two-faced woman, and over here, an entirely different woman was the two-faced woman. Okay? These are characteristic of roles in an archon. Now, in this archon that we are in right now, okay, this here is Great Grandma Roberts. That's Howard Sr.'s mom, okay? Okay. In this archon, the ivory tower entourage is eclectic, meaning that there's some business people like this, who've been maintaining a number and an average for many, many, many eons and archons. See? Great Grandpa Standage. And see, this is Great Grandpa Standage, and this is Great Grandma Roberts. This is Great Grandma Standage. See, these two are a couple. And this is Great Grandpa Roberts. These two were a couple, okay? However, in this regime, they are part of a regime. See, I could go get those numbers. See, they've been maintaining a number with the solution, right? So I cannot remember what number this is, but there's something they've been maintaining for many, many eons and archons. And over all these many, many eons and archons, they're not always the ones that are in the ivory tower entourage. But yet they remain a regime that maintains an average, whether they're playing this other kind of role or not. So in this archon, it just so happens that this regime has many roles in the ivory tower entourage. So do you understand these independent variables? There's the roles of the ivory tower entourage and the numbers that they have because they're the ivory tower entourage. And then there's other businesses other than that, maintaining an average over many, many eons and archons as a regime has a different number. And they've been maintaining this average for many, many eons and archons. Okay, so this regime has been together for a very, very, very long time. I would like to bring to your attention again, and I know we have talked about this as a family before, and also with many of my friends and business associates, I've mentioned this, that this regime that just so happens to have members a part of the ivory tower entourage had lost a member. See, they were a group, a regime, and she was also on this regime. But unfortunately, we lost her. Unfortunately, Great Grandma Roberts went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay? And she betrayed this regime that she was a long-time member of. Okay? Once again, this regime is another variable than the ivory tower entourage. Okay? All right, so we lost her. In a previous video I discussed how there's many, many thrones, that have to do with these natural kind of lures and traps, like if you sink in the swamps of sadness, that's a doom. If you sink in the swamp of eternal stench, that's a doom. If you get caught in the widow of the webs, you know, the spider, the spiteful spider sitting with the widow of the web, if you get caught in the spider's web and tangled up, and it gets you, you suffer a doom, okay? And there's even other kind of fates that change your future forever, okay? All right, so unfortunately she went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and in one of these, some sort of doom, she ended up, we lost her. While I was residing in the city of San Francisco, I resided there for 2 years, she had gone past the point of no return. See, I mean, there was no other friend that could come by and pick her up and lift her out. I mean, there was nothing anyone can do. She was in this trap too much, in this fate, in this doom, and she went beyond the point of no return. We lost her, okay? However, long ago, when I was a young child, we realized she was going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and that we were probably going to lose her. So this regime, in business cooperation with me also, okay, I was involved with this, had replaced her, okay? So there's another woman who has replaced her successfully, perfectly, okay? And that is Betty Eadie. Betty Eadie, who wrote Embraced by the Light. Okay, she replaced Great Grandma Roberts in this regime, not in the Ivory Tower entourage scene, and not in other businesses that she was maintaining. It's just only in this regime. See, this regime had lost her and knew that they were probably going to, and Betty Eadie began to carry out stages of replacing her. And this regime needed her to, because Great Grandma Roberts had begun to betray them. Okay, so they needed her to carry out these things, and she did. And now, you know, now that Great Grandma Roberts, should we call her Tara Johns? Should we call her Lisa Kearns? What should we do? Great Grandma Roberts, we lost forever, okay? This regime, but see, she not only betrayed this regime, she committed a massive betrayal. It was many, many people she betrayed, and many, many people had to become reorganized, okay? All right, so that's the unfortunate truth. That's what happened. Okay, so when you are considering the numbers that you have developed, see, once again, you know, I'm 87, 80, can I write it? 87 of, I gotta hold the paper still here, of 93. Okay, that's a number I have in my hand. Okay, and like I said, I have other numbers in my hand. I have many different numbers in my hand, okay? Great Grandpa Standage also has many other numbers in his hand. Not only this one with this regime. She also had many, many different numbers in her hand. Not only the number that she had with this regime, but this number that she had with this regime, she betrayed, okay? All right, so Betty Eadie also has many different numbers in her hand, and now she has this number in her hand and is in alliance with these people, okay? Now, Betty Eadie has many other different numbers in her hand also that have a different nature. See, the numbers that she had, all the different numbers she had a nature that they had. Betty Eadie now has this number, but she has other numbers that have a very different nature, and this complements many things about the numbers she has in her hand. Okay, I mean, she has let me know that she's very, very happy with Betty Eadie. There's other businesses that Betty Eadie has that also complements things, the other businesses that Great Grandma Standage has, okay? Okay, on to my next video.